One of the danger spots in any college football season. Ranked team against unranked opponent. And we'll see if the upset can shake up the rankings in this one. Glad to have you with us from Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Eagles in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As we'll see a squad from the SEC, the Arkansas Razorbacks, taking on the 22nd ranked team in the land, the Tennessee Volunteers. 48 Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. Razorbacks will get us started with the opening kickoff. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. Not clear on the snap count. It'll be a false start, and they'll move it back. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Motion from the back. They'll keep it on the ground to the right. There he goes. Tourney on the Jets. He's at the 40. He's at the 20. And he'll take it to the house. He got loose. Touchdown, Volunteers.
Yeah, these offensive coordinators tell you they want to start fast and they want to establish the run game. That is exactly what you did. First drive, you hand the football off, making the big explosive run, setting the tone for this football game.
And the extra point makes it 7-0. That one's going to get a little star marked beside it on the play sheet. One play, explosive, touchdown, just like that. The fair catch called for and made. Jumped the gun just a bit, and we've got a false start. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty.
Let's go. Right. Single, single.
To the air. It's Green. And that pass incomplete. The defense got a hand on it.
Well, defense wasn't fooled on that pass play. Great job by the defender knocking it away.
Couldn't make the connection on first down. Now here on second. Back to pass. And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13.
This offense comes out clearly wanting to throw the football. Nothing good on first down with incompletion. And how about this? You've got to protect your quarterback. That is priority number one, and they give up a sack on play two.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Quarterback making checks. On third and long, a check down would be the last resort. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
And these coaches have these play sheets over there on the sidelines, and there's so many calls they want to call. They want to make explosive plays, but you got to protect your QB, and he's already been sacked. Now he's hit again. Like, they've got to protect him up front if they want a chance of doing damage on the offensive side of the football.
Field position here as they start this drive from their 43. Wide receiver comes in motion. Hands it off. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
Got 3 on 1st down at 2nd and 7. Wants to throw. It's Aguilar. Got a man. It's Lewis. He's close to the 1st down, and they're going to mark him just a little short. You know, sometimes even a short game like that can be used to set up something bigger later on.
No doubt, Reese, they can pump that and take a shot down the field. Don't worry, they're going to go back to that same play because they know this guy with the ball in his hands is dangerous. He makes one guy miss, he can take it to the house.
Grabbed in the middle. It's Matthews. And he'll go down, but he has enough for the 1st down.
Shotgun fundamentals are so key. He was like a shortstop, caught the shotgun snap, and right away rifled it out of his hands like he was turning two. That was beautiful.
The Vols getting set on 1st and 10. Looking to throw on 1st down. Unloads to the wideout. Intercepted. Big play stops the drive. He was looking for that big return to go with the pick, but he'll set him up in business at the 36. Put it in play from the 36 for the 1st play of the drive. Back in motion, try to clear the picture. Wants to throw on 1st down. Hauls it in. Turns it on at midfield. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
And the offense here dialed up a really good zone beat. Give credit to the offensive coordinator. He called the right play at the right time.
They'll line up right at the 48-yard line on 1st and 10. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Past the 1st down marker and still running. Good execution. They move the sticks, and they've got it at the 33. And you really can't be called the Hogs if you're not willing to grind it out in the dirt.
Yeah, and I love calling the offensive linemen the hog mollies. In Arkansas, in that beautiful state, you're going to find a bunch of big, strong individuals, and the identity of that team is usually built on those guys up front.
He wants to change this route. Dropping back, it's Green. Hit hard just as he released it on 1st down and just couldn't get it to the receiver.
We're already in the 1st quarter, but already you get the feeling this could be a long day for this QB. He's already been sacked. He gets hit right there on the incomplete throw. They've got to find a way to do a better job up front of protecting this guy, or it's going to be difficult to put up points.
Going to swing it on 2nd down. Deep shot for the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas! They won it all, and that is exactly what they got.
One of the areas they really focused on with this receiver in the offseason was we need you to make more plays for us in the end zone. When we're taking shots, we need you to be able to step up and make tough catches. David, what a grab right there.
And I think a lot of that has to do with trusting your guy, knowing where he's going to be, knowing when he's going to sit down when he's not. So being on the same page and then having a guy that can go get it. Just when the ball is near him, he's going to make the play just like he did right there for 6 points.
The kickoff bounces through the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25. Drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Handoff to the single back. They'll rip off 8 on that play. It's 2nd and 2.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
The Vols can really attack on this 2nd and short. They'll send the back in motion. Dropping back, it's Aguilar. Fires to the wideout. Picked off, and they ruin an early drive with the turnover. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
This is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision-making.
And Arkansas ready to send out this offense. They tied it with a touchdown the last time they had it and trying to complement the defense's good work by taking the lead here. Here's a quick throw out to the left. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup.
A great job by the defense, seeing it right away, reacting to the screen, going and getting the football, and getting the fast playmaker on the ground.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Touch pass on the jet sweep. Finding an escape route. To running room. And he's almost to that 1st down marker there, saying he's a little bit short. They might want to bring out the sticks and measure, but it looks as if he'll be just short of the 1st down. The Razorbacks come to the line trying to find a way to convert on 3rd and very short. Anxious to get started on the outside, and that's a false start. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. And the Razorbacks lining up, just needing a few tough inches on 3rd down. Movement on the offense, and they'll lose 5 yards on the penalty. Mental errors like that just kill drives. We'll see if they can overcome it. Trying to pick up a 1st down. Looking for a man. It's Green. Throws to the wideout. Got the big paws on it, but couldn't hang on. Instead, it'll be 4th down. Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play call and everyone on the same page here. The Razorbacks will try to pin them back with the punt. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. They boot it away on 4th down. And nobody able to handle that punt. They'll let it bounce and roll out of bounds. They come to the line for the first play of the drive, snapping it from the 21. Leaves it with the back. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
Well, not a great run there, but I think what the coaching staff is trying to do is they're trying to help out their quarterback. He's thrown interceptions on each of his last 2 drives. The best way to try to settle him down is to get the running game established. But I think the defense is aware of that right now, loading the box. Everybody up front is ready for the run.
Looking to fire. Bringing the heat. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down.
This offensive line's got to do a better job. I mean, he doesn't even have time to go through his progressions. You got to give your QB some time. You got to make him feel comfortable. They didn't. They got in there quick, fast, and in a hurry.
To the air, it's Aguilar. Rushes on him. Can't make the connection, and the defense putting on the heat and forcing the incompletion.
It's so nice when you know it's 3rd and long, you know a pass is coming, you worked on it all week, get your feet set at the sticks, understand that quarterback's got to be rushed, get him off of his spot. Nice execution by this defense.
Feels to punt and try to pick up some yards. This guy is a daring punt return man. He's not going to settle for the fair catch. A solid return. Gets a little bit of ground for the offense. Good field position to start this drive at their own 47. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call.
Let's go, right.
From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. Got enough for the first. Offense on the move. A big play there, gets it to the 30.
Busting big runs like this is a total team effort. Obviously, the back has to find the hole, but you got to have everybody around them doing their job to make it a good play call.
And everybody around them doesn't just mean the offensive line. The receivers getting their blocks downfield is a big deal, too.
It's a huge deal. We always talk about them catching passes, but blocking is so important for their responsibilities.
Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. Intercepted to stop the threat. He'll try to take it back.
What a nice catch by the defensive back. Listen, a lot of times you see DBs get in position to make plays, but there's a reason they play DB and not wide receiver. Great job finishing the interception, catching the ball, and making a big play.
First play of the drive comes from the 22. To the air, it's Aguilar. He tosses one high and deep down the left side. He's got it along the sideline. Here he goes. And he just kept running, and he ran away from the crowd, and he'll take it in. Touchdown, Tennessee.
One of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch, they've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. And if this quarterback gets through his progression, David, hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running. I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy. The connection between quarterback, wide receiver, you can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. To the ground with the back. At the 35, he's loose. And he's brought down at the 40-yard line, and that'll be a 1st down.
Wow, what an impressive-looking run. You think back to some of the greatest rushing offenses in the SEC in recent years. Remember that offense that had Darren McFadden and Felix Jones both in the backfield, sometimes taking wildcat snaps? Nobody could stop them. This dude, I think, could have broken his way into that rotation with his ability. This guy's sick.
And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it.
And that's exactly what you want to do as a defense, man. You want to get penetration and not let that tank get downhill. Because when he gets downhill at that weight and that size, it could be a problem for your defense. Get him before he gets started.
As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. They'll go to work in the air on second down. Makes the grab. It's Jones. And with that stop, we are headed toward the end of the first quarter. So they had a chance to talk over this third down play to open the period. Back to throw, it's Green. Catch in the middle, it's Anthony. Oh, what a big play for this offense as they get it to the 33-yard line.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. Steaming into the backfield to make the stop, and he'll lose 4.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
And the Razorbacks need their binoculars to find that line to gain here on third down. Unloads to the wideout. What a job to lay out and make the catch.
Man, I love those guys that are willing to put their body on the line. And he does it right here, man. Just lays out. That ball's coming in. You can see it from several yards out, making that play, laying out, keeping the football from touching the turf. Great concentration, great effort by the receiver.
Goes to the option. He'll toss it. How about that defense rising up and stopping him short on fourth down?
Low man wins. Defense that time on fourth down was expecting run. You saw at the point of attack how they just dominated. There was nowhere for that guy to go. Defense wins the down. They give it back up now to their offense.
He hurls one deep down the left side. Catch in stride inside the 15. And he ran away from the crowd, and he'll take it in. Touchdown ball.
This is an offense that wants to take shots in the pass game. That time they went play action, and they were throwing the go route. That's one-on-one. Who's faster? The receiver gets in behind the defender. He is able to make the catch and take it in for the score.
The ball bounces through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Looking for a physical attack from the gun. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
This offense has really struggled, and I think you're just waiting for one play, one explosive play to happen to hopefully galvanize you a bit offensively. That's not the case in there. They try to run the football in the first play of the drive, and it gets absolutely blown up for a loss.
He lofts it high and deep down the left side. Pulls it in down the sideline. Big gain on that one as he steps out of bounds with a first down. The Razorbacks love to do it on the ground, but that gives you some opportunities for big plays up top.
No doubt. It makes me commit more to the ground game, bring more guys down. I'm more willing to play man coverage on the outside. And then in turn, if the QB can make plays down the field, make strikes, get on the same page as the receiver, it can create some huge plays for this Arkansas offense.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. Leaves it with the running back. Oh, it's out! Defense falls on the ball. Going to be a turnover.
I'll tell you, honestly, I don't know what that player could have done to hold on to that football. That defender absolutely popped him. He knocked him into next week. There was no chance he was holding on to that ball.
Looking to pass. It's Aguilar. Makes the grab on the left.
Nice completion here to this wide receiver. And you're going to see this receiver line up in different spots all over the field all game long. Defense has got to keep their eye on where this guy is because they know he's a big part of this offense's success.
And the Volunteers can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Gets the back moving. Wants to fire on second down. Caught in the backfield. It's Thomas. And the defense stops him just short of the first down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks. They'll move the tight end. Defense way too anxious there, and they just hand them a first down with a penalty. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. The offense will gladly take a fresh set of downs after the penalty. Trying to get the corner. Continuing to turn and move it forward, and they're closing in on midfield. It's down at the 48.
And winning first downs is a priority for a defense, and you can't get bludgeoned. You can't get physically beat at the point of attack. You know the percentages. It's usually pretty good on first down that they're going to run the football. So them getting that big chunk, getting it second and short, not a good job by this defense.
The Volunteers with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Wants to go up top. Fires to the big fella. And the defense makes the immediate tackle, but he has enough for the first down.
All right, defense. It ain't working. Right? They're stringing together several first downs here. We're going to need to change this up, find something we can disrupt the quarterback and mess up this offense a little bit.
Sends it back in motion. Back to throw, it's Aguilar. Got his man quickly. They stop him just a link or two short of the first, and man, what they can do on second down here.
Well, the defense playing zone coverage there. They're taking away all of the QB's primary options down the field, so he has to check it down to the drag running underneath.
Second down, they'll go to the air. Got it in the middle, it's Davis. And he's brought down after a nice gain. And after that pitch and catch, he's already over 200 yards, and we're in the first half, Jesse.
Man, Reese, he's dialed in right now. He's really doing a nice job seeing the field, reading coverages, and finding his open guy.
The Vols have it with a 1st and 10. Oh, he'll keep it on the draw. They get him on the ground, but not before he rumbles all the way to the 5.
You got to be impressed by what you've seen by this offense so far in this game. In the first half, they've got a nice lead, and they've been able to do it with explosive plays, but they've also been able to do it with efficiency and getting first downs and staying on the field. And you saw another great example right there running the football. Anything they want to do right now is working.
Motion from the wide receiver. They want to throw it. Looking for the goal line. Crisp execution in the passing game, and they've got it down to the 3.
This is the area of the field defensively. It really doesn't matter what they've done to get here. You got to blow up, try to force the field goal. Nice job on first down and goal, getting them tackled to the ground.
They've got it down to the 3. Now it's 2nd and goal. On the move. Touchdown, Volunteer! And they take it in for 6 more points.
It's just so nice to have a signal caller who can make plays through the air and make plays with his feet like this. Runs in for the touchdown. The defense knows I have to account for him every play. That's my quarterback.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. That ball skips through the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 25-yard line. They take over late in the half, enough time to put together a drive. To throw, it's Green. Snagged out of the air. He goes out of bounds right at the 37-yard line. A good, productive play there to get things going.
Man, this offense, they needed that one in the worst way, right? They're getting blown out in this game so far, and as we get close to halftime, they've got to be able to put a good drive together. They've got to be able to come away with a touchdown here, close the gap a little bit going into the second half.
They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly, and that's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
He's got an open man. At the 40, there he goes. Turning it on. Touchdown, Razorbacks. He got loose, and it was lights out after that.
And that touchdown is so big for this offense, right? Because here at the end of the half, we're just trying to find positives you can build upon in the second half. And right when it was looking like this game was starting to get away from them, they're able to execute, score, and that's going to help their confidence.
PAT unit on the field. And with the extra point, they trail by 2 touchdowns, 28-14. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And the score comes courtesy of the big play, covering 61 yards on the touchdown pass. So after getting into the end zone on that last drive, they're set to kick it away. Bounces through the end zone. It's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Gives it on the option. These little gains can start to add up as he gets it up to the 34. The offense calls timeout. It's the second one they've used this half. And the ball's in a good spot here with 2nd and short. To the air. It's Aguilar. Working the middle. It's complete. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. And the Volunteers headed quickly to the line. A designed run for the quarterback.
QBs that can run completely change your game. I mean, every single bit of it. You have to understand, now as a pass rusher, I got to keep him in the pocket. I got to understand all the zone read concepts and the power read and the jet read, all the different things they can do to you. So, having a guy back there at the helm that can run the football, you better be alert of it from the first play to the end of the fourth quarter.
The Volunteers come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to convert here. From the gun, he'll try to throw for it on 3rd down. There's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half.
We're only in the first half already. This guy's got 2 TD passes, so you could see the defensive coaching staff on the sideline telling this D-line, guys, we got to get after this guy. We have to affect his rhythm and not let him be so comfortable back there. Right there, they were able to get after him. Let's see if they can keep it up.
They punted away on 4th down. Hunt will bounce out of bounds, and they're going to spot it at the 25. This late in the half, here's the question. How aggressive will the play calling be? Keeps it on the draw. And he was able to run through 1 tackle, but still only a modest gain. The offense wastes no time getting the timeout call.
It's definitely too early to panic, but there's some bad feelings going on for this offense right now. You're way down on the scoreboard. I know we're still in the first half, but after that last play, it's pretty obvious. You can't run the ball. You're becoming a one-dimensional offense at a time when you need to be able to score some points. So either get it done through the air or you've got to be more physical up front.
Quarterback doing what he does best. He can move. He'll pull it down. Still running at the 40. That should be the final play of the first half. So that's going to do it here in the first half. Stay tuned for the halftime break. The Vols will kick it off to start the second half. Coming out with it, it's Anthony. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. First snap of this drive will come from inside the 15 at their own 14-yard line. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. No siree, not this time. The defense was there and ready for that one. The Razorbacks have put themselves in dire straits after that last play at 2nd and a mile. Looking downfield, it's Green. Finds his man, it's Anthony. And they get him down.
These guys are called matchup guys. They're not the biggest guys on the field, but they're going to win. Short, and they're going to catch the ball, and they're going to make yards after the catch. You can tell those are the type of guys in college football that are starting to get maximized and used a lot more than they were in the past.
If every journey begins with a step, this offense needs to step into a 3rd down conversion and then try to turn it into some scores, and fast. Moving away from pressure. Going to try to get it himself. Across the 30, out of bounds at the 31-yard line, and they kick-started this drive with that one.
Well, you just get the feeling, too, that if they're going to claw their way back in this game, his legs are going to have to be a factor. What a great job scrambling that time. Nothing open. He didn't panic. He saw some green grass. He was able to get outside, away from the defense, get upfield, pick up the first down. That play is going to help their momentum. They need more scramble plays like that from him.
You know, as a defense, you kind of want to force the give on the RPO. You want them to run the football, and you can tell maybe the quarterback wishes he pulled this. Small gain, but some information you gathered maybe for the next time you get to run an RPO.
Gonna run it. It's Green. And he is stopped immediately by the big defensive lineman.
Well, it's a negative play trying to run the football, and I think if you're on offense, you got to be thinking about throwing it now. You're trailing by a lot. You got to get back in this game. You need tempo, and you need explosive plays through the air.
Trying to move the sticks on third down through the air. Fires to the wideout. Wide open downfield. Once that ball was loose, offense didn't have a chance. Defenders everywhere. It's a turnover.
Great job by the defense here, forcing the fumble on the wide receiver. Look, understand the ball came out quick. I got to break, get hats to the football, secure the tackle, try to get that football out. Nice turnover, nice hustle by this defense.
The run to the left. Got the first down and more. How about that play on the ground? They get him out of bounds at the 34.
Well, he was able to gash him on that play. You just give this guy 1 inch, one little crease. He puts his foot in the ground, and he gets north fast.
They'll give it to him again. Tackle is made at the 30-yard line after he picked up 4.
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. If you've got the lead in the third quarter and you want to keep it, you got to bleed the clock. Best way to do that, run the football. And you're now seeing this offense call these run plays back to back. They are trying to be physical, and they're trying to stay on the field.
He almost had the pick, and that could have given them a boost. Instead, it'll be third down.
Well, this quarterback has struggled, having already thrown 2 picks. That should have been number 3. Somehow the defender dropped that one. Things not going well for this Q.
Coming to the line of scrimmage at the 30. It would be a long field goal, but they'd love to pick up a few here on third and long. Back to pass, it's Aguilar. Throws toward the end zone. And here's the third interception of the night. He stopped not much on the return, but a whole lot in getting the football.
Some defensive players just have a knack. I've played with guys throughout the course of my career that you can't coach it. It's not speed, it's not strength. It's literally, I know when to break on the football, how to go get it, and how to pull it in. It's just a knack.
A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. Keeps it moving for a 3-yard gain to the 24.
And I kind of like how the running back didn't mess around. Like, just get downhill when you see an opening. A lot of times they close so fast, man. Be decisive, stick your foot in the ground, pick up 3 to 4, and we are not going to complain.
Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Out of the shotgun, they go to the ground. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
They coming out in the second half, this offense, they needed to establish this run game. They needed to get something going. They're losing. They've got to find a way to get a flow, to get a rhythm. And so far here to start this second half, defense picking up where it left off.
On third and long, trying to have a big completion here. Oh, and he got drilled as he just got rid of the football.
The defense is in great position right now because they've got a huge lead here in the fourth quarter. They know the offense has to take shots to try to get themselves back in the game. So they're calling their coverages accordingly, and there was nowhere to go with that football. Really nice job by the defense being in position to force the incompletion.
They'll start this drive at their own 48. give it to the back. Right there to stop him, and that'll be a loss of 3.
I'll tell you, this defensive end, not only can he pass rush, but he can play the run as well. You see him beat the offensive lineman there trying to block him and get in the backfield to make that tackle for loss. That was impressive.
Not what they had in mind to start this drive. Here comes 2nd and 13. Back to throw, it's Aguilar. Unloads to the wideout. Got his man to the left. Really putting together a threat now. They get the first, it's at the 37. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. They've got it at the 37. It's 1st and 10. Hand off from the shotgun. Moves it forward just a bit. A pickup of 1 to the 35.
And what's the closest guy to the football, man? It's those defensive tackles, and those guards and centers have to work together. They got to get those guys and get some movement. They don't on this play, and the big fella eats. Nowhere to go. When you run into him, you usually meet the ground.
2nd down, he'll throw it. The screen, and watch out. The defense wouldn't let him loose, and even though it's a completion, they lost yardage.
We're trying to throw the screen out to the receiver. The defense, though, having none of that. They are just too physical, they're too fast, and they force a negative play.
It'll be 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Oh, they're after him. They've got it just outside the red zone. They'll move the chains. It's at the 21.
He's showing you all the tools in the toolbox now. We saw earlier in the game his ability throwing the football, and now you're getting to see it with him running too. This guy is the definition of a dual-threat quarterback, and right now, this defense has no answer for him.
Looking downfield on 1st down. Firing to the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee! Made the grab in the end zone for the score. Like a Thanksgiving turkey. They're just being carved. No shot. They have no idea how to get in this quarterback's head.
He's on fire. Everything he's doing is working defensively. We got to figure something out. We got to try to do something a little bit different. Bring more pressure. At this rate, shoot, he's on so much fire. You might as well just send everybody. Blitz everybody, live with the results, because everything else ain't working anyways.
Starts from their own 25-yard line. Scanning the field, it's Green. He's got him. And a 9-yard gain on 1st down leaves him with 2nd and short.
And I think this receiver's forte is his route running. He's a guy that can line up all over the field, but it's not just catching post routes and goes. This guy can run shallows, he can run slants, he can run the option routes and find soft spots in the defense. This guy really has all the routes in his toolbox.
Back to pass on 2nd down. Not quite in rhythm there, incomplete. This offense is desperate to keep this drive alive, trailing by multiple possessions, and it's getting late. Quarterback adjusting the pattern. He'll throw on 3rd down. He slings it deep to the left. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. Didn't get a chance to show off those running skills, but he gives them the ball at the 29-yard line. He'll get this drive started from the 29. Off the play fake on 1st down. grab behind the line. It's Strickland. And that play just looked to be a mess from the snap, and he's run out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. And the Vols now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. To the air on second down. Throws to the wideout. That is just a sideline credit. Throw, catch, toe drag, everything you want. And wait just a second. The official's going to take a second look at this one. And they take another look at the play, but the officials on the field were right, and the play will stand. Here they come, 1st and 10 from the 48. Oh, it's a reverse. And the defense was ready when the wide receiver got the ball.
For an offense, to make the wide receiver reverse work, you've got to have a lot of guys doing a good sell job. Running backs have to behave as if they're actually going to keep the football, and everybody else on offense has to be yelling out, run, to try to make the defense over pursue, but no Oscars being handed out on that.
Dropping back, it's Aguilar. Fires to the middle. Got his man downfield. Lots of green grass as he gets it to the 31.
To be honest, I think the quarterback was a little bit surprised himself at the play call that came in that time. You've got a 3-possession lead here in the third quarter of this game. You're probably expecting some short throws, some runs. And this play caller is still asking for shot plays. And listen, you're the quarterback. You're happy to oblige. When you've got the playmakers you have offensively, just keep chucking it.
Couldn't hang on to that one. This defense has already picked off 3 passes, almost had the 4th. It'll be second down.
This quarterback has thrown a lot of picks. I don't know if he's just not seeing the field right or he's just trying to force too many throws. That should have been number 4 right there, but the defender dropped it.
They're dealing with a second and long. Using his feet. They could have used a little bit more there. Picked up a 3. It's 3rd and 7.
Well, they try to go quarterback design run on that play, but the defense just not buying it. Nice job, everybody playing downhill and making a tackle close to the line of scrimmage.
That's the end of the third quarter. Tennessee 35, Arkansas 14.
So we open the final period with a 3rd down play. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
And on money down defensively, you've got to find ways to affect the quarterback. Nice job by the defense, getting the pressure, getting to him, getting a hit on him, and forcing the incompletion, and now forcing the 4th down.
Oh, and he missed it. No good. After the missed field goal, hey, could be worse. They're still up by 21.
And sometimes I just feel like 4th down, man, just go for it every time. Like the field goal miss, make rate. And listen, kickers have improved the last couple of years, but you left some points off the scoreboard there.
Got enough for the 1st. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
Well, this offense is going to try and grind their way to a win now, and they're going to start force-feeding this guy the football, too. He's made a few plays earlier in this game, but now in the 4th quarter, it's about force-feeding him, getting some push up front, and just icing this thing.
Good pickup on that play. It'll bring up 2nd and 4.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
And the Razorbacks with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Looking to throw, it's Green. And that pass will be jarred loose on 2nd down. That brings up 3rd down.
It's a nice adjustment by the defense here. With a big lead in the game, you're putting extra DBs on the field, knowing the offense has to throw to get back in this one in the 4th quarter. So your best cover guys on the field, and they force an incompletion on the last one.
flips it out on the screen. And he's going to be just short of the first down. It's going to bring up a decision for this coach. Down in the fourth quarter, it's too late for empty possessions. They'll go for it on fourth down. All down, but they'll move the sticks as he picks up the first down.
And I think that's what you want to see from this offense down the stretch. Like, can you physically dominate the game? You've got the lead. Now run the football, eat clock, continue to feed your dude.
The Razorbacks are moving quickly down the field. Motion from the wideout. Touch pass on the run. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Well, will they dial up on second and a long way to go? Back to pass. Lets it fly. Complete downfield. Oh, he's got some space. They get him stopped, but the big gain has them on the doorstep. Let's mark it at the 13.
You know, as the head coach of this team, this is one positive you're going to take away from this game, is that your players don't quit and they're still willing to fight. And there's obviously a lot of things they've got to iron out offensively, and we've seen that today. But I do love the grit they're showing here late, still trying to make plays.
He'll ride his man on the option. And the ball is free on the pitch.
And the defense did everything right against that option play. They got to the quarterback. They forced him to keep it. Not only do they create the fumble, but they jump on it behind the line of scrimmage. That is just perfect option defense.
On the ground, trying to pull the plug on this clock. This time, they stop him in the backfield, and that has been a rare sight in this game tonight. A negative play to open the drive. Let's see what they've got on 2nd and 14. The give to the back. They drag him down behind the line of scrimmage, and boy, that hasn't happened very often. He has had a tremendous night.
It's going to be tough sledding for the offense here. They're trying to ice this game by running the football and bleeding the clock. They've got a pretty good lead here late in the game, but the defense knows the run's coming, right? So they're going to be loading the line of scrimmage, getting stops like what they just did. It'll be interesting to see what the offense does on this next one.
And the Volunteers are way behind the sticks on this 3rd and forever. Or did he find a hole in the defense?
Well, this defense is trying to find ways to disguise their coverage and mix it up, try to confuse the QB. It's not working. With that last completion, he's now got over 300 yards passing.
The Volunteers come to the line with a fresh set of downs. And on 4th down, they'll take a knee, but this one's just about over. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. The defense still has a couple of timeouts at its disposal, but down a couple of possessions, the offense will take a knee. Running out the clock seems to be a mere formality here as they are ready to snap it in victory formation. And they take a knee on 4th down, having inflicted enough damage, and that ought to do it. You know, there's no real reason to panic, but if you think about it, when does panicking ever really help? But certainly this was a bitterly disappointing outcome.
And you can look at a lot of different statistics, and I know we tend to overcomplicate college football these days, but guys, at the end of the day, it comes down to 2 very simple things. You can't turn the ball over, and you can't have penalties. You do those things, David, and it'll beat you every time.
That's the difference between winning and losing. It's the small things, but find those things that you need to improve on. Keep working on them. Keep developing. Those things you do well, then let's do those. Let's do more of those things more consistently.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.